Welcome to the Dynasty Citadel. I am Terry Williams. Don't know why I said my full name, but what I'm doing, this is something I wanted to do for a while. So I'm going to start getting Dynasty content, start giving my opinions on things. I think this is something I could be consistent on. I've tried so many different channels, different topics, things I thought would work, but I'm going to do this because this is something I'm actually passionate about, something I wanted to do for a while, seeing plenty of other creators doing it. I'm actually helping the company right now. So, writing for FTR right now. So, yeah, this is something I want to do. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to dive in and see where this takes me. Hopefully, I can make something out of it. Today, I want to do mock drafts. Again, I doubt I have anybody. And honestly, right now, I don't even know. I have to sign into chat because I don't even know how to really work this thing because this is my first one. And I think I'm in the wrong. Honestly think I'm in the wrong account right now. Let's see. So let me see if I can log in real quick. But my goal today is to just help people with their drafts. I'm basically gonna be mocking against the computers today, and then hopefully what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a Discord tonight. I'll just keep posting that link into the bio. Hopefully it generates, people that just like talking Dynasty. That's because that's what I do practically all day. So hopefully this starts some interest. What people like to do. I know kind of merging another channel that I had before previously, but I wasn't using it. So I'm like, okay, instead of starting from zero, might as well start here. Probably should have started from zero, but this is what I'm doing now until somebody tells me to do something better. So I've rebranded the whole thing, and yep. All right, I'm logged into the chat now. And what you saw at the start was the sleeper screen. Hopefully everybody can actually hear me. Well, this would be terrible. But what we're going to do, let's go ahead and get into this mock draft. What I'm going to do, I'm going to draft from the 12 spot today. And let me do this. I'm going to put this into the chat. Well, I guess I don't know how to. Well, let me see if there's a way to actually share the link without copy invite link. Okay, there we go. All right. And did it copy the same link? Yep, same link. Doesn't even matter. Yep. So put that link in the chat for anybody watching. Well, actually, I can tell who's watching. Right now is nobody. So I will be drafting by myself, and that's totally fine, to be honest with you. I don't mind it at all. What we're going to do, and I changed some of the settings. I tried to get the settings similar to what actual rosters are. So 12. This is going to be 12 team Superflex. Probably should have put that. We'll work on it. Superflex. And what I did with the roster settings, going to be 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end, 2 flex, and of course Superflex at the end. And we'll just do 5 bench spots. Don't need it to take all day. I doubt it does, honestly, just because we're drafting with the computers. So this should be pretty easy. Let me make sure I am in that 12 spot. I will put it at a minute because I might talk throughout the draft just to see what the computers are doing. And then I'll probably do is start making videos as well. Make an order, how I think these players should be ranked. Been playing Dynasty for a couple of years now. Fantasy probably over 20, not 20, but 10, maybe 15 at this point. But basically been playing fantasy football for a while. So let's go ahead and get in. Let's go ahead and get into this one. And again, I put a 60-second clock on it. There we go. And we got the clock going. So let's see what we have here. All right, so we had Josh Allen. We had 5 quarterbacks taken at the start of this round. So ideally, I'm just thinking, where's the clock at? Do I have a clock on? Oh, it's right there. Ideally, I'd want to go quarterback here, to be honest with you. Just because I think I can get a skill position player later. So, let me see what I want to do. I forgot doing Dynasty and not redraft. Let me do this. Let's go Jahmyr Gibbs here, like they have it. And CeeDee Lamb. Or do I go? Or do I go Puka? That's the real question. That's the honest to God. That's the truth. That's the true question here. Do I go? I went Gibbs. You have good options all around. And I guess you have to say if it was tight end premium, but this isn't bad options. This is pretty good options all the way around. But I think CD will make a bounce back with Dak. So I'm gonna go ahead and take CD there. And it's probably pretty chalk right now. But ideally, I would want to take a quarterback and get that going. All right, back to me. I wonder if there's an easy way to pause this. Probably not, but all right. Let's look at it. We're at 3 rounds of the draft. Basically, I'm about to pick here in just a second. So most teams, if we're just looking, because I'm pretty sure this is just regular ADP at this point. If we're looking at most teams, I'm pretty sure Chase will go over Jamar right now just because of Joe Burrow effect. I doubt Joe Burrow will go 3. Jaden Daniels will go 3 in this mock. Bowers, I like Bowers' spot. In PPR, and if you're playing at any tight end premium, it's a possibility you could take him higher, especially with him actually having a quarterback this year. Patrick Mahomes, I'm interested to see how far he actually falls in real drafts. He's still pretty high in this scenario, but if you can get someone like a Caleb Williams, someone like Justin Herbert, is he really that far off in tiers, to be honest with you? Especially if Ben Johnson is supposed to be the quarterback whisperer at this point. So we'll see about that. Let's keep going. Let's keep going and figure this out. Right here. Oh, let me actually get back on the clock. Right here, I am tempted. Because I do want to go to another skill position guy, but I really can't. I really can't. And this idea, do I take a running back like Breece Hall, or because I'm pretty sure I can find, if they go according to ADP, I'm pretty sure I can get another running back. I won't have to worry about that. But at this point, do I take a quarterback or do I take a gamble and just bet? Because there are currently 4 teams, including myself, without a quarterback, and I have 15 seconds. So do I take Kyler? Baker honestly has been very comparable, but I think in this scenario I would go Kyler. And I do have another whole minute. And now the debate is, because we are playing with 3 wide receivers, do I go another receiver? I believe I can get another quarterback in the 5th round. Because somebody like Dak hasn't even popped up just yet. And most teams have 2 quarterbacks except the 4. Or do I take somebody like Bucky? I don't know about Bucky, to be honest with you. I know he had a good season, but I'm not totally sure about that entire scenario. Let me see who else is down here. Currently, I feel like there's some better players down here. What I will do, I will take the bet on Garrett Wilson, just because of what Justin Fields did with DJ Moore back, a couple years back. I'll take that bet. Let's say that he'll actually be the guy. I think is it going based on this? Well, not really. According to this, Baker's not going to fall to me because Team 7 is going to get a quarterback. Oh, but they went Bryce Young. But Baker just went. But like I said, Dak falls right here in the 5th round. I will be taking Dak here. That's kind of what I want. Now I'm going to stall a little bit because I want to think about, and that's why I like picking back to back sometimes, because you can stall and you can figure out who you want to pick after that. Now in the tight end premium league, I definitely would have took Tyler Warren, but I'm pretty sure he would have been gone already. Now the thing is, do I want to gamble? Because if I look at my roster, I know I have. If I look for another running back, Kenneth Walker, I'm not too worried about. My team is fairly young at the moment. So I don't know if I want to go with Derrick Henry. I could, but I'm pretty sure Alvin Kamara is buried down there, so I might as well wait on that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take Dak because I don't think I want anybody after this. So I'm going to go ahead and take Dak. And which I already knew, but the true question is do I take a running back or a wide receiver here? Because if I take a wide receiver, I can go ahead and fill up that slot. Chris Olave, if he doesn't have the head injuries, could be a league winner, to be honest with you, because of how far he's fallen. People talking about him going for seconds. I would say anybody offer a late, if you can get a late first and just get off if somebody wants to get off a Chris Olave for a late first, take that immediately. Don't even question it. I just want to make sure. Tyreek Hill's another one, but he's older. If we're playing Dynasty, DK Metcalf, if they had a quarterback, we could figure that out. But I'm going to go ahead and take Chris right here. And we'll see whose team at the end. As you see, a couple tight ends have gone across the board, but we're not necessarily playing tight end premium in this one. So now I have Kyler, Dak, Jahmyr Gibbs, CD, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Now the question is, do I want to be a competitive team? Just being honest. This is the next question. I have better than an idea of who I'm picking next. Because like I mentioned earlier, I need a running back, and he failed to me. Now, in a real league, do I think this happens? No, because I don't think Jalen McMillan gets picked this high, just in my personal opinion. I don't think Brandon Ayuk gets picked this high. Not with a couple of these wide receivers, like Chris Godwin. That's automatic buy. This is from a previous league. But Chris Godwin's automatic buy. I'm higher on Ricky Pearsall than more people than I listen to. And the reason being, especially at the end of the season, let me go ahead and get Alvin Kamara, and I'll keep talking. But oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's so wrong. Man, it almost messed me up. The reason being, Ricky Pearsall, you lose Deebo Samuels. You basically lose Ayuk for probably until mid-October. He could establish himself as the wide receiver one. Now, we know Juwan Jennings and Brock Purdy, they do well together. We already know that. But if we are truly thinking of how first-round picks go, and I want to say the hit rates, I was looking at somebody, hit rates of like either 40 or 50%. But I'm interested to know because he's basically a second-round pick, how late he got picked. But they still put that first round investment into him. So they're going to want to make that pay off. Oh, but the person I'm picking now is Devontae Adams. And if I can spell his name right, we can go get him. Where is he at? Did he get taken? No. Let's go, team! No. Let's go! Well, the crazy thing is that actually was going to be my next pick. But did Devontae get taken? Oh, no. DK's right there. Where's Devontae Adams at? Is he not in it? Okay, people. One thing I will let you know about. Oh, wait. What's on? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Stop. Well, this is the struggles of doing this for the first time. But that's fine, because I'm just going to let it play out. Now, clearly, if you're watching the video,
I was looking for Devontae Adams. I guess I can't spell his name because I'm on the running back. That's why. Rookie mistake. But where Mike Evans would have been, I would have took Devontae Adams. And there's no way possible I'm taking Brian Robinson and Khalil Shakir over Devontae Adams. I'll make that known now. Just looking at the board, I would have taken. Oh no, I wouldn't have taken Khalil Shakir because I would have definitely got God. No, would I have been able to get Godwin coming back? No, I wouldn't have got Godwin coming back. I need to look at the next row. I probably would have taken a running back, but I don't know if I've taken any of those. I might have taken a shot somewhere else, to be honest with you. Just being honest, I think I'd take a shot somewhere else. I could get another quarterback, get my third quarterback, get Shadur here. But for me, they already took the backup running back. But for me, actually, Sam Darnold might be a good buy here. How many seconds I got? 3. All right, Sam Darnold is right now. But what I'm thinking, let me see. Let me think. Let's think. Sam Darnold's not bad right there. I doubt, and I seriously, he's starting quarterback. He's not lasting to the 11th round. And that's why people like to play. I got to find some real drafts that are some real mocks people do. But I definitely, I forgot I need a tight end. Probably shouldn't forget that. Still, Travis Kelce still out here? Yeah. Travis Kelce, if Travis Kelce ever last to the 12th round, you get him every time, and you don't worry about it. Just go ahead and get him. But let's keep going. Now we have a couple of those guys I was going to take. I was looking at Warren. I doubt Warren falls this far though. Just being honest. And I like Coker because I felt he was a sleeper. If I knew Shadur was going to fall in this mock, I would have just got Shadur. I would have waited for Shadur and got another wide receiver. But if I'm going to bank on this team how it's built right now, I'm going to take Stephon Diggs right here. And I think that's pretty easy for me to do that. Let's keep looking. Right now they have all the quarterbacks packaged in one little spot right here. Let's look at running backs. And who do I want? Is there anybody? Do I take a shot on Cam Scatterbo? I'm pretty high on him. I think a lot of people are low on him, especially for that 40 time. They thought he was going to run, and think his pro day still ran like a 4.56. Even if he ran a 4.6, I don't care. I honestly don't. But how many running backs do I have? I have 3 currently. And how running backs go? Do I go Javonte Williams? I'm pretty sure the Cowboys take a running back. And I don't want to even chance it. Do I go Jalen Noel and look at it? Or I could go Jerome Ford. He's the starting running back right now. And we could just look at that. And then for my last pick, is Shadur still on the board? Yeah, I guess this is why people don't mock against the computers. Or you mock amongst yourselves. Let's see. Yeah, because Shadur, Jackson Dart should not be on the board. Geno Smith definitely shouldn't be on the board. Justin Fields shouldn't be on the board. If I would have rolled down, I would never took Sam Darnold right there. I know that much. Because I'd definitely rather have Justin Fields than Sam Darnold. Just for a 1-year upside play. Yeah, that's pretty. I think that's a pretty easy decision. But let's look here. If we're looking, do I take another tight end to give myself? If I'm trying to treat it like a real league, do I take another tight end? For me, I probably would take another wide receiver because those are my bread and butter. Do I take Keenan? Do I take Amari Cooper? Look for the upside? I would, personally. That's just how I play. And I can figure out a running back next round. Yeah, I try to look at the wide receivers that potentially could be wide receiver ones, wide receiver twos. And that's how I like to look at it. And go in here. Let's see. We have Kyler Murray, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kamara, CeeDee, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Travis Kelce, Mike Evans, Brian Robinson. I did not mean to take Brian Robinson because I would have never done that. But we have him on the team. I would say my co-commissioner picked him. Dak Prescott is my second QB. Khalil Shakir, Sam Darnold, Stephon Diggs, Jerome Ford, Amari Cooper. It would have been nice to have. That means I wouldn't have got Mike Evans and Adams. I think the ADP is off because there's no way Adams falls that far. What happened? No way he falls that far. Over here thinking, should I do another one, or probably need to make sure this one's actually doing okay. To be honest with you. But all right, that's just one stream. I might come back one later tonight. Just work out some of the kinks, build a Discord, do all that good stuff. But this is what I'm gonna be doing. This is what I'm gonna be doing. Figure this out. Might do. I wish I had it set up. I could do a rookie one, or actually, forget. I actually could do a rookie one right now. And since I'm on, let's go ahead. We can keep all of that. Let's just do rookies. You mean, on a completed draft you can't? Well, I guess that's why people. Oh, maybe that's why people like go in the background and do it. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's my actual real leagues. Don't know if I can do that. Can you create a copy? Oh, maybe that's why people create copies of the league. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and get these settings. Let's do rookies only. Are the rosters the same? Yeah, because these are exactly how I want the roster, so that's perfect. All right. I didn't hit update though, did I? I did. All right, perfect. All right. One league I have team 7. One league I have a 9. I have 7 and 9 in one league. One league I have 1 and 2, and I'm pretty certain what I do there. Me personally. Do I draft a 12? I don't have any 12s. I have a 5. Yeah, but let's do this. I'm gonna draft a 9. Just want to see what's being said right now. If ADP is going to change at all, and it doesn't look like it has, because you feel like Shadur would be not Shadur, Quinshawn. Depending on the thing is, it's capital. If Quinshawn gets second round capital, you take him. Travis Hunter is the wild card. I'm honestly trying to figure that out. If Travis Hunter plays wide receiver at all, just from everything I was looking at, I tried to create a model. It was the first time actually doing stuff like that. But according to it, so my model had Tet 1, but Travis Hunter had better stats. And the reasoning behind why Travis was 2 is because they didn't know, the model basically didn't know if he was going to play corner or if he's going to play receiver. So it just put him at 2. But every metric, Travis was better. I think other than like vertical routes or whatnot, I'm taking Quinshawn here. Yeah, other than vertical routes, no. Yeah, this is why. See, this is why we're working out the kinks now by myself, because that's definitely a rookie move right there. Definitely should have been on linear. We're doing the rookie draft. All right, so let's do this. Oh, now that's nice right there. It went ahead and just shifted on. Okay, cool. And since it's a computer, it doesn't even matter. Okay, let's keep that thing rolling. All right, I was kind of not paying attention. I have an idea who I'd pick here. I'm trying to make sure, because there's a player I like. Now, according to the board, this is Superflex again. I don't think Jalen Milroe, unless he would have to get second round capital to the Jets at least, in my opinion, for this to work. Jackson Dart could. He's actually starting to get hyped up pretty well. Golden goes after Trey Harris. There are Trey Harris stands up there. I do like his analytics a whole lot, but the film guys don't like him, so it's giving me some sort of pause. And the reason I say that because Brian Thomas analytics weren't good at all. But I'm taking Jaden Higgins. Let's go ahead and take that. But Brian Thomas analytics weren't good at all. But let me pause this again. Yeah, they weren't good at all, but Brian Thomas played with Malik Neighbors, and I didn't factor that in, and it messed me up in a lot of drafts because I knew Malik Neighbors was going to be good. Marvin Harrison, Roma Dunze, I was pretty certain about them, so I'm interested to see how their year 2 goes. Ladd, I was pretty certain about him. I see some people talk about his analytics weren't good, but how I look at PFF, I thought he was good. Troy Franklin was a big miss. I thought Troy Franklin was going to be good, but he wasn't. Who else? Leggett, but the 5-year breakout, I didn't know too much about the 5-year breakout. Again, this was, I think that was my first off season of me studying these rookies. How do you make it just 5, or do I just? Oh, you probably just have to delete all this. That's cool. That's probably how you get it to. Let's go. We go 4 rounds. It's fine. But let's go. Yeah. So Troy Franklin was a big miss according to that. And yeah, just learning. Leggett again. His analytics were very good, but everything before that was terrible. But I'm interested to see how Leggett does because he did have the injuries going for him. What I need to do in the future, though, is have my board up. Or I need to just memorize this. But I doubt Scatterbo falls to the 3rd. If he does, you try to trade your 3rd round pick or a future pick to go get him, in my opinion. Restrepo, believe it or not, and I'll talk more to it actually after this. Restrepo is actually rated high in the model, even with the bad speed. So I need to actually go get. Okay, hold up. I don't have wide receivers no more. All right, hold on. Pause draft. I see my flaw. Add position. Add a tight end. Jeez. Okay. Oh no, I need to do just all bench spots. Hold on. All right. Hold on. I can see that as an issue, or I can just do all flex spots maybe. Yeah, let's do this 4. Let's do all. No. Let's do bench. Just do all bench. 2, 3, 4. Update. There we go. I was missing a whole set of players. Wasn't even fair. I didn't even have a shot at getting none of this right. Okay. Let's go ahead and resume. How many seconds got? No. We ain't doing that. No. I got 6 seconds. All right. Who am I picking? The other guy whose analytics are good too, both on PFF and that little mini model I made, is Tez Johnson. So, Tez Johnson's probably falling to the 5th round. So, if you can get him in the 4th, I'd take a shot. If you can get him in the 4th, you kind of have to. You kind of have to because he was good.
According to everything I've seen, he's been good everywhere he was at. But he just ran slow to NFL standards. And to be especially 154 pounds is crazy, to be honest with you. 5'9", doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like some of the 5'6" running backs are bigger than 150. But wasn't it Darren Sproles who was 5'6" or 5'7", 170 as a running back? So that's something to think about too. I'm not sure how fast Darren Sproles was fast though. At least I'm pretty sure that's the difference. And still, 170 is bigger than 154. Let's look down here. Somebody's probably missing that. People have gotten higher on Savion Williams.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to actually pay attention because they said Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson had to have one good year here in Atlanta. I'm a big Atlanta fan. Hat, but I'm not sure if you can't really catch the ball as a receiver. Yeah, Cordell Patterson was good as a running back though, not a receiver. Good as a kick returner, not necessarily a receiver. So, are we drafting Savion as a receiver? Because I don't think Cordell Patterson was 6'5" either, or 6'4", however tall Savion is. So that would only be my only other issue with him. My guy didn't really do too much. Another guy with good metrics, Ricky White, he ran a 4.6 though. I think him and Pat Bryant ran 4.6. Ty Felton, pretty solid. LaQuint Allen, I think. So
I have a theory. My theory for running backs is it's two things. I look on PFF. If you're a junior and you have all three overall marks, not rush grade marks, but all three overall grade marks from that like 85, 86 up in all 3 years, automatic buy. That's honestly, and so coming into this year, I was hoping Ashton Genty would be a sleeper, and he was already rated up too high, and he was a running back anyway. But because people had Ollie Gordon over him, and I was doing it just because of the receiving work, because Ashton Genty had 544 receiving yards, and he had two basically blue seasons according to the PFF marker for his overall grade. Because when I'm just looking back on it, if you look at Bucky Irvin on PFF, I would say I'm not sure if he had all blue, but it was very close. He was like in the 88, 85, 88. He might have hit a 90. I have to look at it again. Jonathan Taylor is the other one. Jonathan Taylor was ranked behind, on PFF, he's ranked behind two other people. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is ranked behind him. But I want to say DeAndre Swift and Zach Moss was who Jonathan Taylor was ranked behind on PFF. But when you look at DeAndre Swift, even though he's in the green markers and like in the 80s, but he's in the lower tier of the 80s. Jonathan Taylor is blue, and blue on PFF means excellent. Maybe it means blue chip. That's probably what it means. So, and then Zach Moss, I think, had one good year. I think at 91 PFF grade. But looking at that, if you weren't, let's just say you didn't watch film, that's something that just stands out. Same thing with receivers. Receivers that have at least two blue years in a row. They can't be separated. That's the one thing I'm starting to realize. Even with running backs, they can't be separated. If it's two blue years in a row, or it could be like a high green, high blue, very similar. So if I was playing Dynasty that year, my first year of Dynasty was when Puka, got drafted, but I wasn't really too ingrained into the whole thing yet. But looking back on it, if I would have saw that, and of course there's other factors, I'll get into them later videos, other factors, but if I would have saw that, I would have definitely snagged Puka after the draft. And I would just, because, in my important leagues, because we have 3-round drafts. So that's what I did with Jalen Coker. I did the same thing with him because I want to say he had a green and then he had a blue. And I know he played at a small school. I want to say Holy Cross. But when you look at the analytics, you look at the yards per route run, try to make sure if it's over 3, they're dominant. And that Puka's was over 3. I'm pretty sure Coker's was over 3, or if it was close enough to 3. They're dominant. And that's what you try to look at. And there's other things I'm looking at too. I'm looking at yards per versus zone, yards per route run versus man. So going back to Trey Harris and talking about the stands there, that's what makes me him. It's him and Jaden Higgins. Now, the thing is, they're seniors, which I believe Puka was a senior, or he might have been a junior. Sometime PFF listed wrong, and I actually didn't even think to look about him. I know Jalen Coker was a senior. So, but the thing is, people always talk about the breakout age, but I think and I don't know. I think Trey Harris is a 5th-year senior, but in Jaden Higgins' case, Jaden Higgins fits that bill. So I'm going to try and take him at the end of every first round if I can, because he fits the bill everywhere. Because people talk about he's a senior and he finally broke out. No, according to PFF, he broke out last year. And I think people are missing that. So, and that's the same thing with like Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors had I want to say he had a very good sophomore year, and then he truly broke out. But, and the thing is, you look at the yards, PFF is not necessarily looking at the yardage total. And I think that's where people mess up at. So, Jaden Higgins is a big buy. That's why if I can get him, I have the 2-3. So I'm debating in my one league. I have the 112 and the 2-3. I'm rebuilding in that league. And I'm trying to see where I can get him, because I'm pretty certain I will get him. Just because Egbuka, Burden, any running back taken in the first round, I'm pretty sure Genty and Hampton will go in the first round. And if Travion Henderson goes in the first round, it just pushes people down boards. Warren has a bigger name than Higgins. So does Colston Loveland. So Matthew Golden as well. That's what Matthew Golden, if he goes in the first round, he will go in the first round in rookie drafts. Matthew Golden scares me, though, because like I mentioned earlier, Brian Thomas had a dominant receiver. His analytics were not good. I should have taken him. I made a mistake on it, and I have somebody else I'm about to mention here in a second. The person who didn't have a dominant receiver is Matthew Golden. Isaiah Bond was that person. So it's the same way between Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy. Last year, really, it truly is. So Adonai Mitchell was always projected to go ahead of Worthy until he ran that 4.21. He ran the 4.21. He goes in the first round. But Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell, was projected at first to be in that first round. But when you look at AD Mitchell's metrics, they're not good. Now, I will say he has Anthony Richardson on this team. I want to say fantasy points, they do the average separation score, but it shows that AD Mitchell gets open. So I don't know if he had a better quarterback, if that helped. But I want to say they did have Joe Flacco, right? So it is a better, because every time Flacco came in, Josh Downs started popping off. So I'm not truly sure about AD Mitchell right now, but we'll see. A lot of these guys, it sometimes takes these receivers some time to develop and whatnot. But that's what scares me about Golden, because he didn't come on strong to the end of the season, and at that point, okay, cool. He has the traits, he has the speed, but I feel like the NFL makes a mistake every year with these speed guys. Every year, I wrote an article about it. Or I need to write a more extensive one about it. Yeah, they make a mistake every year about these speed guys, and they take one that they shouldn't take in the first round, and it bites them every year. But so that's what I see. So going back to Higgins, that's what I see there. But the Brian Thomas debate that I was mentioning. So 2 things. What I'm noticing. Anybody that has another dominant receiver on their team and they're still ranked fairly high, now they can't be like the 20th ranked wide receiver, but somebody like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. Malik was ranked number 2 because everybody know Marvin Harrison was ranked number 1. Some people had Malik ranked 1. I'll give those people credit, but most people had Malik ranked number 2. Brian Thomas was always ranked number 4 consensusly. I didn't have him number 4 because I didn't know what I was doing. If I knew what I was doing, he would have been number 4 right with him. But if you have one dominant guy and the one guy doesn't show that well, that's okay as long as he has elite traits. And Brian Thomas had elite trait. He was a touchdown. He was a touchdown king in college. And so I learned from it. Let's just put it like that. Not that I should have known. I learned from it. Went back and looked at other receivers that had great receivers on their team. Looked at, it was
Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. I looked at A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf. They're all ranked highly. Now, what messed me up, though, I believe what messed me up initially was Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. So then I had to reevaluate. And that's where the slot guys come in. Now, people always say the slot guys, they're coming into the NFL. The NFL's changing, and that's cool. That is cool. And one thing I hate, and I will get back to the slot guys in a second. One thing I hate is when people say Ladd McConkey was a slot guy. Ladd McConkey played out wide in college. He played for Georgia. I watched Georgia. He played Brock Bowers. Ladd McConkey played out wide. Now, in the NFL, we knew he was playing slot. But for you to be able to win, if you can win on the outside, it seems like it translates to being able to win on the slot in the NFL level. So, in saying that, when I go back and look at some of these guys, and the thing is, it depends how dominant the player is. Somebody like Jerry Jeudy only played the slot in college, or mostly played the slot in college. Henry Ruggs was good, but I don't remember him being that dominant in college. I really don't. I know he was really good at Alabama. I do know that. I'm not sure how dominant he was, though. Devontae Smith, we know he was dominant. We just flat out, he won the Heisman. If he didn't win the Heisman that year, that's crazy. But at least he won whatever the wide receiver award is. He won that. But that's where I know Jalen Waddle. Let's take it a little bit further, because Jalen Waddle only played the slot. And that's another thing I found. If you only play the slot, you're good. You're good. As long as you play with another dominant guy, then you're fine. Let's take it to Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Jamar played out wide. Justin Jefferson only played the slot. But he had Jamar Chase on his team. So that's where the mistakes, that's literally the Brian Thomas mistake right there. And to be honest with you, Justin Jefferson, according to PFF, had better statistics than, just analytically looked better than Brian Thomas, just being honest, when you look at it. So a lot of people got a steal back in the day. I wish I was playing. I wish I knew like some of the stuff I knew now and was playing. But just looking at stuff like that, and I'll eventually build a model that's correct, but I just have to. Right now, I'm going off an eye test just because that's all I have right now until I actually build something that I actually approve of. Who else was it? Oh, last one. Then I probably should make a draft and get going. Last one, DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown. So A.J. Brown, he did play out wide a little bit, but that last season he played only slot. And DK played out wide. But they were both rated the top two receivers in that class. Now, that was supposed to be a weaker draft class for wide receivers. According to PFF, it was a weaker draft class. But, as we know, A.J. Brown's a stud. DK is, a good wide receiver. Had a wide receiver one season. I wouldn't say necessarily a stud like A.J. Brown. But that's when you know, and because DK's metrics were terrible. Terrible. But if you have two guys, they were both still rated the two best receivers in that draft at the time. And clearly, they probably still are. I'd have to look at the draft class. But it's a telling sign. So this year, I don't have that. You have Matthew Golden, but Isaiah Bond is too far down the board to be considered another dominant guy. The other one I'm looking at currently is Higgins and Noel. Because Higgins, and I'm doing it according to PFF, was dominant. Noel was very good. So I'm trying to, and I'm doing this. Film guys, y'all can tell me different eventually. But according to the I'm doing it according to PFF right now, because that's just what I can base things on right now until I look at other pieces of data, because I don't necessarily like to look at the yards. I want to look at the analytics and break it down from there. But if I'm looking at it, Jaden Higgins is not dominant enough, and Noel is not close enough of a tier to be considered dominant. So that's part of the issue. So I'm pretty certain, no matter what anybody says, I'm pretty certain Higgins is going to be good. Higgins plays out wide. He can play the slot, that's fine, but he plays out wide in college primarily. Noah played a lot of slot. He did play, but the thing is, he did play out wide a good bit because that was my thing with Malik Neighbors initially until I really did a deep dive and I was like, okay, Malik Neighbors is solidified. And then he showed it. But yeah, that's one of the things that I'm not too sure about, to be honest with you. It's probably gonna make a pick for me. That's fine. Who am I picking? Harold Phantom. Here we go. So yeah, that's some of the things I'm looking at. Oh, Ted Johnson's gonna go. Dang. Was that 4-5? Alright, I doubt Rourke goes. I don't see why people do the quarterback tight end. But the thing is, you can keep going. That's fine. Oh, I like Torrey Horton a lot too. Yeah, Torrey Horton's another one. I definitely like Torrey Horton. If I can get him this late. Jack Bish. I'm not sure what to do about Jack Bish, to be honest with you. Broke out this last year. Really didn't have any prior production. I know people say he went to LSU and was playing with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, I believe. But that would have been early on, I think. If I'm right, that should have been early on. So I'm not truly sure what to do with him. And Jack Bish is not. Jack Bish, according to PFF, I think he's like the 5th or 6th best receiver, according to PFF. But the problem is Savion, I want to say might be outside the top 100, or he's like right near that marker. So I think if I'm just purely analytically speaking, Trey Harris it just depends on what situation he gets into, get put in that Rashee Rice role. So how you might fall down drafts. But the film guys is what scares me, to be honest with you. The film guys say he's not that guy. And that honestly puts fear into me because this is my second rookie mock draft? Yeah, this would be my second one. So it puts fear into me. But if I'm looking at the analytics, Trey Harris and Higgins are the guys that could fall down draft boards. That could be the guy. But let's just take a look. Let's just take a look because I guess we can talk about it and then I'll finish up from there. Okay, so we have Genty. We already know Genty's great. Let's just say that. We have McMillan. I think McMillan is a lot better than what people says he is, but I guess it's up for debate. For whatever reason, he's falling down draft boards. Do I believe it's true? I don't. I think they're lying to us. I think teams are lying, trying to knock his stock down, which makes sense because when I look at his analytics as well, and then he has just the stats to prove it as well. But I look at his analytics. People say he can't beat, because he is a contested catch guy. But I think people forget he has a bad quarterback now, and that's what scares me about Luther. But I'll get to Luther in a second. He has a bad quarterback, and he still put up 1,300 yards in both seasons. Analytically, he can beat man. Analytically, he's not as good against zone, but he can beat zone. So, and then last year analytically, he was better than he was this year. So, and the same thing with Luther. But Tet didn't have such a major fall off like how Luther did. And that's why I'll get to Luther here in a second. So, Tet, I think, is actually a step too low on people's boards. I think Tet is actually going to be a really good receiver, if not a great receiver, to be honest with you. Yeah, because he has the entire skill set. I'm like, he runs a 4.5. I don't care if he runs a 4.48, 4.55. Does not matter, to be honest with you, when you're 6'4", 6'5". Honestly, doesn't matter. Can catch. I would say can look high point the ball, and that's all you're looking at. And in fantasy, he's going to be a target. And I don't think, and depending on the scheme he goes to, as long as he doesn't go somewhere, and I don't think there's anywhere he can really go in that top round where, because even if he, let's just say he went to the Jets, still opposite side of Garrett Wilson. Still works. Who's the number 2 receiver? There is no number 2 receiver. It would be Ted. Yeah, there's no bad situation for him. We know he's not going 1, but if let's just say he was to go the number 1 receiver, number 1 overall, opposite side of Calvin Ridley, that's not bad. Again, I said Treylon Burks. I'm like, not really worried about Treylon Burks, and that's the other guy I meant to mention because, actually Treylon Burks is with the Luther Burden. All right, I'll get into that. Man, I probably should have titled this something different. Didn't realize I would be going over this long, but let's just sum it up. Ted McMillan is going to be fine in the league. I have no issue. I probably would draft him at 2. Cam Ward. I'm not too high on Cam Ward. To be honest with you, I'm not too high on Shadur either. I want to be higher on Jackson Dart, but I don't know. I don't know about any of the quarterbacks in this class. If I was to take a bet on one, I would take a bet on Milroe somewhere, especially if I can get him in the 3rd. Only reason is because I know he has the rushing ability. That's the only reason. And then don't let him fall in the 1st round. If a team takes us in the 1st round, in Superflex, not in one quarterback, because I do still play in some 1 quarterback leagues. But in Superflex, yeah, you definitely go find a way to get Milroe. Marion Hampton. Initially, before he ran that 4.46, he was falling down draft boards. He's always been my number 2 running back, regardless. It didn't matter. It honestly didn't matter where he went. He was going to be my number 2 running back. And I was initially thinking he was going to fall down draft boards. He's not now because of his RAS score, and that sucks. And it seems like he's going to be the number 2 overall guy taken in most leagues. Travion Henderson. Travion Henderson is very good player. And I'm not too certain about him. And I can't say the size thing because Bucky is smaller than him, but I'm not totally certain, just like health wise, to be honest with you, if he can hold up. I'm not sure. Honestly, not sure if he can hold up. Warren, I'm a lot higher on Warren in tight end premium leagues. If he falls in regular leagues, if he falls on that 1-2 turn or that 10, 11, 12 spot, take him every time. And I'm starting to get that way about Colston Loveland too. Luther Burden. Okay, let me get to the Treylon Burke now. And I guess I'll just do the 1st round because if not, I'll be here all day. But Luther Burden scares me. Polarizing prospect. They say he's Debo. I think I have somewhere where I put he's Debo and Steve Smith. But what scares me is he only played the slot. And when he did play out wide, he was bad at it. Very bad at it. And that's what scares me. Because you have to be able to beat somebody down the field. You can't only play the slot. Well, you can only play the slot. But you need another great receiver by you to be only playing the slot. And Theo Wees is not what he's, good college receiver, but he's not. I wouldn't consider him a high-end prospect, because if he is a high-end prospect, then Luther Burden makes sense. But I seriously doubt Theo Wees is. Now, him only being able to play the slot and then having a terrible year this year, and the thing is, and I think people are moving Luther down to the 2nd round now, but Luther Burden seemed to have been given some grace that Tet was not getting, which I didn't understand. Because it's not like Tet played with a better quarterback. Now, the Treylon Burke situation. Treylon Burke scares me because when looking at him on PFF, he looks great. Looks amazing. 6'3", I think 225. According to PFF, all his markers would look good. It was beating man, contested catch. Everything looked good. Receiving grade, everything looks good. Then I noticed one thing. Traylon Burke only played the slot in college. Red flag, automatically. Especially to be that big, and he did not have anybody else on that team to make him play the slot. That's where the issue comes into play. Same thing with Luther Burden. For as good as Luther Burden is, whatever the 5-star prospect he's supposed to be, there's nobody good enough on that team to force him to only play slot. He should have played wideout a lot more. So I understand why he's falling down boards. Now, I think he's falling down boards on other people's boards. I'm not sure if it's just because they believe he's a slot-only player. But I'm pretty sure some of the statistics go into it. But, yeah. My model still has Luther ranked high, and that's the other thing that scares me. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be pigeonholed unless he has to go to like a Mike McDaniel offense, Shanahan offense. He's going to have to go somewhere like that. And to be honest with you, Shanahan offense is not good for him either. Because with Juwan Jennings and Pearsall, that's not going to be good for him. Yeah. So I'm not sure where a slot-only guy. Now, he is tough. That's cool. I guess if he plays a little bit of running back. But that's kind of like Savion Williams. And, like, what am I looking for? And I guess that's where the Debo comparisons are coming from. But, yeah, I'm not sure. Now, let's go to Igbuka. Igbuka, Travis Hunter if Travis Hunter's a wide receiver, he becomes my wide receiver 2. Igbuka becomes my wide receiver. I don't even know if he becomes my wide receiver 3. Maybe he becomes my wide receiver 4 because I'm high on Jaden Higgins. But I think I can get Jaden Higgins early in the second round. So, Igbuka. Remember how I keep saying, if somebody forces a player in the slot, that is fine, as long as your other metrics are good. And PFF still has Igbuka rated high. Now, the reason I say this is Igbuka last year, let's just say if he came out last year, Marvin Harrison comes out, dominant, perfectly fine. Igbuka mainly plays slot. So now I don't have an issue with him playing slot. This year, Jeremiah Smith, dominant. Igbuka only plays slot. That's fine. So that's what scares me, because Igbuka might be a lot better than what we think. And that's what scares me. He is on my model. I think he's 4. I think he is 4 on the model. I have him 4 behind Jaden Higgins, just off of what I've been looking at, me personally. But Igbuka is going to be very interesting, because everybody has him, I think, slotted to Amon-Ra. I think I put him more like the Keenan Allen route, I think, when I wrote about him. And I'll take Keenan every day of the week. So if Igbuka could be, because if you think about it, I'll take Keenan over a Debo. I'm taking Keenan over Debo. I guess it's a Debo / Steve Smith. I have to go back and look at Steve Smith on, because I know Steve Smith's a good receiver. I just got to look him as on just fantasy wise. But if Keenan Allen is anything close to a prime Keenan Allen, early Keenan Allen, that is wide receiver 2, easily. Now, and the thing is, he primarily plays slot, but like I said earlier, if somebody forces you to play slot, you're still a good receiver. And then if PFF still has you ranked high, that makes it even better. So I think Igbuka is a lot better than what we as a general fantasy community, what we give him. And I think he's a lot better than we think. Quinshon Judkins, he ran good, played good near the end of the year. Can catch a little bit. I know he had to split time. Two things what I don't get about Quinshawn is he's for him to be so big. I don't know why he wasn't breaking tackles as much, and his yards after contact wasn't either. Was it breaking tackles? I think it was the yards after contact actually. So his yards after contact wasn't as high as I was thinking it was going to be. But it seems like he's still a really good running back. And then I go back to remember how I mentioned earlier about the PFF thing. If you have 3 good years of the blue or close to it. So Quinshawn, first year at Ole Miss, is I believe at 88. His second year, I think it's like an 83. Third year, this year, 88. That's what scares me about him. Because some of the other metrics that I was looking up, I want to say just 2 days ago, said there have been it was like no running back. It was bad. It was like no running back under like these percentages ever like amount to anything in fantasy. I have to, let me see if I can look up because I wrote it on my Substack. But, oh yeah, here it goes. I guess I just have to read it real quick. But other than that, Quinshawn was good at everything. So his yards after contact, it says it correlates with only a 9.4 hit rate. And then the 5.1 yards per carry falls below the 5.7 threshold. I'm not really too worried about that. But the elusiveness metric and breaking tackles, that's what I'm worried about. And then they also mentioned, I also found out, over here also found out that if you have a yard per route run as a running back under 0.9, they said there have been 0 that finished top 12. 0 that I found when I was looking up information. 0. So that's what scares me. But I think I'd still take a shot. Shedeur Sanders. I think, in my opinion, he's probably the best actual quarterback, but I'm not sure if he has the strong enough arm. And then some of the habits that I think he developed in Colorado, I wonder if that can get coached out of him. Just holding the ball too long, just trying to make something out of nothing. If they can get coached out of him, just because his offensive line should be better, I think, depending on where he goes, I guess. But if they can get coached out of him, I think it'd be fine. Because initially I had him over Cam Ward initially, but then I remember just seeing what Shedeur was doing with Cam Ward, those drills, and I was like, man, one dude actually can get the ball out there, and then Shedeur, I guess the ball dies after a certain point. But I really got to look into it and see how many throws do quarterbacks make that are like 20 plus yards. Like I really got to look into it and see if that really truly matters over like the overall thing, because I know quarterbacks can throw from anywhere to 500, 600 passes a year. And if you're telling me I'm only worrying about 40 throws, all right, well, I don't care about it. I really don't. If I'm only worrying about 40. But yeah, that's the only thing about Shedeur, because he's very accurate. I remember listening to somebody saying he was going to be a rushing quarterback, and I just laughed. I'm like, you've never seen this dude play, because he's not running anywhere. Now, he moves well in the pocket, in my opinion. He moves very well in the pocket. But rushing, nah, that's not going to be him. But I'm interested to see who's going to be the better between the two of them. And then I guess you could throw Dart in there, too. Caleb Johnson. So, you see the guy right under him, Dylan Sampson? I wish I had more draft picks, to be honest with you. I wish I had more. Because that right there, that is my sleeper. I think I know people talk about the Tennessee scheme, but I think they forget how young Dylan Sampson is. Only played 3 years and has been good, I think, the last 2 of them. Then last year, Jalen Wright came out. This year, he'll come out. Yeah, I think he'll be good. But Caleb Johnson, I'm not sure. Some of the analytics have him good. I think my model had him 9, I think, out of 10 running backs. which isn't necessarily good. My model, is a baby model, so I'm still working on it. But I'm not sure. He really only had one good year of production, which out of running backs doesn't really mean anything. But historically, when I look at, and again, these are my eye test. When I look at things, it doesn't necessarily equate to much most of the time. Last person I'll talk about, then I probably should end this stream. Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is probably the most polarizing prospect in this entire draft. I don't know what to do with him because he could be taken at 1-2. He could be taken at 1-1, to be honest with you, if he would play wide receiver. Every metric I look up say he's a great wide receiver. I think I was listening to Brett Whitfield earlier today, and he said, I think he's the number one cornerback in this class, or I'm pretty sure he said he's the number one cornerback in this class. So I don't know what he does, because I don't want to have to take a player that's only going to play half the snaps on offense. I really don't. Yeah, because I'm like, I can get somebody like Trey Harris, I can get somebody like Jaden Higgins, who will play 70% at least their rookie year. And then I don't know, because there's no way Travis Hunter plays both sides without getting hurt. No, the guys are too big. The people that he will be playing against will be looking to take his head off, because they're probably already mad about some of the stuff that he said, how the NFL is going to be no difference. So, but if he was to play wide receiver, there would be a case for him being number one overall over Genty, over Tech. There would be a case. Yeah, because I can see it for a guy that, now the thing is, he probably doesn't have all the nuance for wide receiver position right now, but you got to think, my man probably, and I don't understand, he wasn't tired out there. That's God-given athleticism, man. You can't do nothing about it. But yeah, Travis Hunter at 12 could be a steal. He could be the steal of the draft. And what's crazy is everybody knows him. Everybody knows who he is, and he could still be the steal of the draft because nobody knows what to do with him. Now, if he gets declared as a wide receiver at the draft, stock goes immediately to 1-2. Immediately. Now, the question becomes, though, do you believe it? Do you believe what these GMs say? And does he still play cornerback, and then now he's just shadowing that wide receiver? Because if he plays 30%, because I don't see how it could be done. I can see him playing corner and then playing some spot wide receiver. I don't see how he could play wide receiver and do spot at corner. Because then when he comes in the game, I'm like, okay, they have to run a certain package for him. And I listen to Shannon Sharp, and yeah, it would just be too. They wouldn't know what to run against those guys every time he come on the field. It's different for offense because he just I know he has certain packages, but you could throw to anybody on the field. Defense is a little bit different. So that's just talking over the top 12. Man, I could talk about these things for hours, but what I'll do, I'll set up another listen. Next, actually, I could talk more tonight. I know I probably got to do some stuff right now, but yeah, I would say do a mini rookie draft and just talk about some of these guys and what I think and what I'm looking at. But this is the first one of many. But till then, guys, and then I'll try to make a Discord. I'll try to make some videos as well. Try to get better at this thing. It's gonna be a grind, but I'm here for it. All right. Until next time, as Jimmy High Roller would say. Wait. See, I'm still live right now. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know what I'm doing. Your boy is still live. All right. Well, I guess I can talk about some other people until I
Oh, never mind. Stream over.